Ladies and gentlemen, some days you just read the news and you think to yourself, you know what? The politics of agitation is just like tiresome, like really tiresome. And the politics of agitation is exactly what the MK party says that it plans to do in their upcoming celebrations of their 1 year anniversary. But before we get on to the main news story, can I yet again remind you, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. If you'd like to support the work I do, you're welcome to buy me a coffee. The link is in the description box below. So let's get on to it. Let's get on to the news. So first of all, let's get on to the news that an MK Party MP during the Deputy Public Protector interview basically misrepresented the Pala Pala report. During that, the MP claimed that the report basically cleared Ramaphosa of any wrongdoing and said it was correct to put cash underneath his sofa. The individual also asked questions around the report on the Maracana incident. So basically, we've got an MK Party MP who's sitting on the interview panels and again has attempted to use the interview panel to use the Pala Pala report and the Maracana reports to go after President Cyril Ramaphosa. This is kind of like the tried and tested arguments that they've used for like the last how many years now. It's boring. But that reminds us yet again of a question that we've used time and time again. Why are there political parties, MPs, being involved in these interview processes? It's not good because it politicizes the officers themselves. You can say, well, it can't do, but it does, because what you're effectively doing is saying, here's my political dogma and my political position. Do you agree with my political dogma and my position? Am I going to be able to use you as a tool to instigate forms of regime change? If I can, I give you the job. If I can't, then you're not for me. And we've seen this time and time and time again in the interview processes. The inclusion of political parties in these interview processes in the first place is wrong and needs to stop. At least that's my opinion, and you can let me know what you think in the comment section below. So let's get on to the next news story. And this is the news story that the MK Party vows to take back KZN, take back as if they had it in the first place. But according to them, they vowed to take it back from the IFP-led coalition. Now, according to the MK Party, the KZN province is being led by an IFP-DA government because, you know, the National Front and the ANC are just two like junior coalition partners in that, and they're just stooges. According to them, and yep, I can't believe I'm saying this, the IFP and the DA are apparently looting that fiscus. Yep, they're looting their fiscus, and it needs to be challenged by the MK Party to stop the looting from occurring. Because, you know, these guys are like the paradigm of moral purity. Now, according to them, they got 45% of the votes, and it was actually only through coalitions that basically stripped them of that majority, and they think that they should be governing that province because they got the majority of the votes. Now, according to Floyd Shivambu, apparently his party isn't a nationalist party. It's not a Zulu nationalist party, and it's actually fighting for the liberations of, and I quote, black, brown, and white individuals. I'm not entirely sure how that happens because you see what the MK party is actually agitating for is a return to African customary law, even though nobody knows what that is, with a degree of like communism from Marxist-Leninism. Yeah, I can't make it make sense either. I mean, there's lots of ideas there, but the heads of their party act like the staunchest of most capitalists whilst buying extravagant lifestyles whilst claiming to be pro-poor. So they're the EFF then. Well, we've seen a lot of the EFF members defect to there, so I suppose that's arguable. Because you see, the next thing that the MK Party are doing is they're actually going to make the biggest mistake that I feel personally that the EFF did. And that was during the big celebrations. Remember, they rented out a stadium and they had everybody flying the red banners, and they had Julius on the little forklift, and he did his whole like singing of Kill the Boer and raise his hands in the air. And apparently it marked a big celebration that was going to ensure them getting a majority mandate and winning the country. And then they got bumped from the third position to the fourth position, the fourth largest political party, because they actually lost votes in large numbers. And you see the MK party under Floyd Shivambu appears to be like, I know what worked for the EFF. Let's do the same thing, because they are claiming that they are going to have a historic first birthday. They're going to rent out the Moses Stadium in KZN. They're going to fill it up. They're going to bus in people there from everywhere. And it's interesting because that's the EFF's playbook. And Floyd basically doing what he did for the EFF, but for the MK party. Now, very interesting in all of this is that the MK party says, it's not just eyeing up the KZN province. They also want Cape Town, eThekwini, and Overberg. And they're going to go for all those areas because apparently those areas are all like really, really pro the MK party. I don't know about you guys, but I never saw anybody voting for MK in Cape Town. Like, Western Cape is notorious for not really voting along the ANC, EFF, or MK lines. It's pretty much in the other side of the camp, PA, DA type territory. In any case, this idea that the MK party wants to chuck out the IFP and KZN is kind of now becoming mainstream because according to them, the leader of the KZN province, an IFP individual, is actually using his office to settle political scores. I mean, that's never been done before. I mean, imagine Panyeza Lesufi using his office to settle political scores and try to push forms of political dogma on individuals that didn't vote for it. That would never happen. So what does the ANC think of all these claims? Well, according to the MK party, they actually did a press release where they said that they were in active negotiations with the ANC and the National Freedom Party, who, by the way, the leader of the National Freedom Party was an IFP member who fell out with the IFP and they have a dispute. So they're not like eye to eye seeing friends, but they agreeing to work together. So it stands to reason that possibly they may feel that the IFP are taking too hard a hand against them and they might defect to the MK party. Apparently the ANC now says, well, this allegation that we're working with the MK party, it's all false. We haven't even had meetings about it, so we don't know where this all come from. But according to the MK party, they've got agitators inside the ANC, people that are just waiting to defect. And when they do defect, it's going to mean that the ANC basically loses the numbers that they have, and they're all going to go to the MK party, and the MK party will have a majority. Is there any form of credence in that? Who knows? I mean, we do know that there are many in the ANC from the RET factions that are very pro-MK, and many of them don't like the market reforms currently occurring with the current, should we call it, more free market orientated ANC with its GNU partners. Now, you see, it's kind of ironic because with all this occurring, the GNU in place, we're actually seeing forms of rating upgrade. Unemployment is going down, and the current police minister is actually starting to get a handle on crime. But whilst that's all occurring, we've still got the traditional provocateurs who want to agitate for regime change, because that's exactly what the MK party says it's now going to do in KZN. They're going to agitate the residents in order to provocate a form of regime change, so they say. They see once upon a time this would have been classed as treason, it would have been classed as spreading the seeds of social discord. But, we don't live in that environment because social discord and upsets a society is like Tuesday. I mean, it's retard understand after all. So what does all this mean, ladies and gentlemen? Well, it means that the MK party has shown us very clearly how it intends to use its political might, if you want to call it that, in order to do politics. And it isn't using politics in the same way that, say, for example, the DA might do. So the DA loves to sit on principles and talk about democratic norms and whatever else. But the MK party is showing us that they intend to basically adopt the EFF strategy to doing politics, and that is social disruption, agitation, annoyance, and basically bully everybody to get what they want. And what they actually want is unclear, apart from, give us back all the land. We'll have communist utopias with a little bit of African law, which nobody knows what that is, on top of that. So what do they actually offer? Well, in my opinion, nothing, apart from, Jacob Zuma, who's the rock star of the party. And Jacob Zuma apparently will be addressing the big addressing at the stadium. And I'm reminded of a few years ago where Jacob Zuma had to be let out of prison because, his health was really, really bad. Apparently, he's made a miraculous recovery. So much so that he can lead an entire political party, which at 80-something is a real hard task because leading a political party is tough. But anyway, that's just my views. The politics of agitation continues. Yeah, I must say, I was actually born in Durban. And I was raised in Durban, and I really don't miss that province. Anyway, that's my views. You can let me know what you think in the comment section below. Until next time, bye.